Welcome back to another amazing episode of LaQuita's Toolbox. I am your host, LaQuita Monley, and I am excited about the guests that we have in the studio with us today. Welcome back to the LaQuita's Toolbox to all of my returning listeners. And for those of you that are joining for the first time, we'd like to give you a hearty welcome as well. If you are our returning guests, you know the drill. Get something to write with and to write on because you do not want to miss any of the tools that are going to be released in today's episode. But before we get started and bring on our guest today, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors at Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith based Christian apparel and accessory shop where we as believers are able to shop online for clothing and accessories that allow us to wear the message of the love of Jesus Christ. Go out to www.covenant-press.com. Again, that's www.covenant-press.com. Shop until you drop, but do not click off of those pop-ups too quickly because they contain valuable discount codes that when applied at checkout will give you valuable savings on your purchase with Covenant Press. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring on Miss Taiisha Bradley. Miss Taiisha, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Hello, I am fabulous. I'm so glad to be back on here. I can't wait to start to talk to you because you know how we can talk anyway.
Listen, good conversation. Good conversation. I'm so happy to have you back because you are the subject matter expert, right? You are the subject matter expert, and publicity matters. Many of our listeners are small business owners. They either have a side hustle or they're full-time entrepreneurs or thinking about becoming full-time entrepreneurs. And you and I both understand all of the noise that is on social media right now. We can't avoid it. Everywhere
Right.
that we go, somebody has some plan, some three-step idea, 10-step product. And let me be the first to say I got some of them things and stuffs myself.
Right.
That are telling our ideal client, if you partner with me, this is the solution that you're going to need to all of your problems. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I gotta have Taiisha back on because it's so easy as a small business owner to either get discouraged because you're thinking, how can I show up like these major companies? I cannot compete with this. I just got started yesterday, or I'm in my first 5 years and I haven't turned a profit, but I need people to know who I am and what I'm doing and share my story, but I can't afford all of this. And Taisha, you and I have talked about this several times. So I had to get you back on here to give the people some love and some encouragement as it relates to publicity and PR and why it matters and how it can be affordable for even the solopreneur or small business owner.
Yeah, so I'm so glad to talk about this. What is I think unique about me is that I am what I wanted to be when I grew up, right? So I've always known about like media, entertainment. I had a celebrity in my family, and so I got to see a lot of background things, what press look like and journalists and publicists and managers and all those things. So like I have like a day one view of what it used to be. I don't want to
Right.
date myself as far as age wise, but let me tell you, I got a good strong 25 plus years, even longer than that, with a sight for what goes on. And I can say that the scope of the media has changed so much over the past 30 or 40 years. Whereas one point in time, if you wanted to be, featured and seen on the media, it was a whole big thing. You had to have like a manager and an agent and a publicist and an assistant and someone who knew the producer and calling and going down there, sending faxes. And the fax part wasn't even that long ago. It was so hard to actually get to the media. The media was very much so gatekept. So, as the internet came out, things became more accessible. You're able to get an email address from the media and possibly send them an email. But back then, a lot of publicity and PR and getting with the media was a lot in relationships, who are you? Do they know you? Because the media has to be really responsible with making sure that they connect with credible and reputable people, right? So they would be really, really, gatekeeped and, someone who you knew to kind of get you in front of there. And then, along with the boom of the internet, now, journalists don't just work for journalism. They're entrepreneurs. They have their own websites. They're freelancers. They do other things. And it made the media even more accessible, because one time it was like this big media giant. And then it started to be where it broke off to like you could actually physically see like the people in the media. This is a journalist. This is a reporter. Where at one point in time, you just saw CBS. NBC. You didn't see like the individual people that you could access and speak to them. So I think the internet further, kind of broke that out and make it accessible, where you can see all of the editors that work at a magazine. You can see all the writers, producers, things became more transparent. So fast forward, well, actually rewind to whenever the pandemic started and everything shut down and everything went virtually. That really did something majorly different with the media. So if you remember everything, everything was, kind of at home and virtual. While media has tended to be virtual, we were seeing things on talk shows like virtual studio audiences. We had never seen that before. We saw the court shows where the people were coming and testifying in virtually on Judge Mathis, right on the TV screens. It started to really change things. And the media also did that as well. While it's not uncommon to have like a remote interview from somewhere, between a reporter and another reporter in the newsroom, or maybe like a guest on the scene, what they started to do was have people who would normally come in studio just remote in. And the great thing about that is you could be anywhere, anytime, and find yourself, on the Today Show, because you're sitting in your living room and they're remoting you in now, where before that wasn't necessarily a thing. It could have, but typically you would go there and you would have to.
That was reserved for the elite, where they were just happy to get 5 minutes with them.
Yes, and you would have to get a flight and childcare and get to New York and get to the place, and do all those things, where now, during that time, you could just kind of remote in. And a great thing about that is that just the gates just got left open, right? Everybody is like, this is so much more easy. So now during that time, I found that never before has there been this much access to the media. And at this point in time, it's kind of like, if you know how to connect and what to say and who to connect to, you really don't need a publicist or a manager or anyone else on your behalf to approach the media with a newsworthy or relevant story or story idea, or even something like offering yourself as an expertise to the media, which is called a media source, which people are looking for. So in this season of my business, I am not focusing on pitching for other people on their behalf. Now I still do that, but I'm not doing it en masse. And what I'm doing is empowering people with the tools and the resources and the opportunities to do it for themselves with the support of a professional publicist who's been doing this for like 25 years.
See, that's a game changer right there. That's what LaQuita's Toolbox
is selling the whole game.
Come on now. Come on. Put us on game, sis. Put us on game. Even I want to say, was it about 2 days ago? I had a publicist slide in my inbox on LinkedIn, and she's great at what she does. I don't know her personally, but I know some people who use her. And when they started using her, I mean, they blew up, but that comes with a price. Ooh, they were already at a place in their business where if they didn't bring on a publicist full time, it was going to be shaky.
Yes.
So they needed it. And I remember for our very first conversation, one of the things you pointed out is know what the publicist does and know if you're ready for them. Are you prepared in every way for them? But this new thing that you're doing is, again, another game changer, because the way things are laid out now, that shift happened in COVID. And now where you need to be publicist ready from day one as a small business entrepreneur. Whereas prior to COVID, you had time to build to get there.
Right.
And now it's like, if you are not showing up in video, in print, in podcasts, online magazines, your regular everyday magazines, local newspaper. It's like if you're not showing up in a global fashion, then it's going to be really hard for you to keep up no matter what your business is. Because COVID did shift some things and then open it up. And your package, your offering is something that the person who just got started can, or, even if they haven't gotten started, well, my money says this, or my time says this, my availability says that. Teaching them how to do it, that's a game changer right there. Like, what inspired you to do that? I know you're gonna have some publicists hear this and like, sis, what you doing?
Right. Listen, passing the business on to you all, because you want to spend all your time pitching for other people and managing their expectations. Go for it. And there's some people who are so good at it. They're so great at it. That's what they do and they love it. And that's fine, but I'm just not in that season anymore, to be doing that. I want to be able to help a lot of people. When I'm just working for clients and pitching people like on their behalf as their publicist, I can only work with 3 people at a time. So, I feel like I'm here doing the Lord's good work. Yes. And I need to figure out how to serve more than 3 people at a time.
Come on now, sis. Come on. So, break up them fishing loaves and feed the masses.
Yes. And so this is my way. And there's still people, tons of fabulous people that I would love to refer people to that, that's their ministry and that's where their purpose is doing that work. But for me right now, I'm passing on access and knowledge and experience. And I love it. I've loved to teach. I always have a passion to teach. Like I could see me ending like my career as like a full-time tenured professor, at a university teaching communications and things. It's definitely in the cards. And I just feel this is like a turn, even toward that, to me doing more of like a teaching, guiding kind of role. And what I do and what I offer in no way replaces, the time, energy, and effort and connections that a publicist has. Mm-hmm. But like, listen, if you're just trying to get a little rah-rah, a little sis boom ba attention to your business, publicity is the way to go. There's so many different ways to gain publicity outside of just, being in media, being on TV. And those are other things that I talk about. And I bring a lot of kind of low-hanging fruit opportunity to people, because there's so many people who are maybe not in a place where they need a whole bunch of media spotlight on it. Like imagine, everybody says they want to be on Forbes, right? Imagine if Forbes called you right single now and it's like, we need to do a front page feature on you. We need a list of your products. We need all your demographics. We need your information. We need you to be here. We need you to be there. We need you to be ready. What are you going to wear? Like most people will be like, wait, I'm not ready. Like, I don't know. Okay. But if Forbes.com has an opportunity for a relationship coach to give 3 tips on how to, spice up a date night for an article, I'm sure that there are a lot of relationship coaches out there who say, okay, well, I'm not ready to be, on Oprah's Masterclass giving, speeches, but I can definitely give 3 tips to Forbes.com, and feel confident in my comfort zone. And in turn, what they're doing is they're like, all right, great. The person who's writing this story is not a relationship expert, right? They might write relationships columns, but they're not an expert. So they're going to have to rely on someone who is an expert in the area to help them write those stories. And those people need that all the time. Imagine if in your regular day-to-day job, right, and you're just doing what you do, that you have to have like a site for everything that you say. And when I say site, I mean CITE, like citations. You have to cite everything that you're putting out. Then imagine on top of you having the site where you got the information from, you need like a real whole person who you can call and be like, you told me that, right? And you're an expert, right? Tell my boss, right? Because these people who are creating the media and writing stories and, on air, they have bosses as well. And the bosses are like, boom, what you got for me today? Well, I have this story, blah, blah, blah. What do you have to back it? Well, I have a relationship expert. Who is it? Have I heard of this person? Well, I'm going to go check them out to see if they look good or not. And this person, remember, their boss. Has to also vet, what they have brought to you. So the media is always looking for like reliable sources. people that they can reach out to instead of being like, oh Lord, now I got to find a relationship expert. What if you repost them and said, hey, I'm an award-winning relationship expert. I'd love to be available to help you anytime you're writing these stories. Just call me and email me. Thanks. Bye. That's so easy and small, but that could be such a game changer and a help for a person who is writing those articles. Instead of saying, okay, I have an article that's due, this relationship article that's due in 2 hours. I need somebody to, fact check this, or, I need a relationship expert to comment something real quick. Let me call person. Let me call LaQuita. Let me call Taiisha. Instead of looking for someone every single time, you can position yourself to be a go-to person to media. So you don't even have to pitch the media all the time. You can have it to where the media comes to you.
Yeah.
And I have that all the time, where media will reach out to me for something, or they'll say, hey, Taiisha, do you know a person that can speak on blah, blah, blah in an hour? Right.
Yeah.
That's all publicity. And that's like being in the right place, right time, media, building relationships as well. So there's so many ways to work with the media and also earn publicity outside of pitching. Hey, write a story about this. Hey, write a story about that. I think that's where a lot of people get scared. They're like, I don't know what to say.
That part. So like, I like that you brought that up, and the low hanging fruit, because many of us, including myself, I'm put myself in that. It's like, okay, I know that I need to show up in these streets. I know that people need to be writing on me. I know I need to be on the wire. I know I need to do all these things, but how do I get there? What do we talk about? And that what you just said, making myself a go-to individual for a particular reporter or groups of reporters, that they know that they can come to me for something really quickly, that's in my area of expertise. That's golden. And it doesn't matter what my company is, like you use a relationship expert as an example. What if I'm the person that's selling widgets, and I've created this awesome new way, streamlined way, not only to create the widgets, but manufacture them and get them out to customers quickly. And so now I'm the widget expert to about 3-4 reporters who need to have that article out there. Then my material is going out there consistently and constantly, and it's not breaking the bank. It's achieving the goal, and it's not breaking the bank. That's the beautiful part about it. So, we may have some listeners that are saying, okay, all this sound good, but why do I need it? Like, why is all this important? Why I want a reporter to know my name? Like,
right. So let's go back to a word that you use that scares people. Expert.
Yes.
Right? Because the media is looking for experts. And you say, well, I'm an expert. A lot of us feel uncomfortable saying we're expert, because we feel like when we say that, people will take it as we know everything about it. But listen, to be an expert, you don't have to know everything about it. You just have to know more than most people.
Come on.
You have to know more than the people that you're talking to. Okay.
Come on. And that's not hard to do. At the end of the day, really, it's not hard to do sometimes.
Right. So don't wrap yourself up like that. Like my kids, my 6-year-old, I would say that he is a cell phone expert, right? He's just 6 years old. He didn't go to anybody's school, but if something is wrong with my phone, I can hand it to him, and he could get me back to the screen that I needed to get. He's the resident expert, right? Maybe not for the world, but he's the expert up in here, right? So being an expert doesn't mean that you know everything. It means that you know more than the average person about a subject, right?
Right.
So I don't want people to get caught up in that and be like, well, I'm not an expert. Next to most people, you probably are.
And that's the truth about it. That is the truth about it. We experience that in our everyday conversation. Sometimes you're talking to people and you're talking about topic A, and you're going on and on about topic A, and they look surprised, like, wow, I didn't even know that. And I'm thinking to myself, how you didn't know that? But okay,
right, you be like, that's basic level.
That's basic level. What your basic level is maybe somebody's wow factor. Yes. So we want to do that as business owners. We want to wow our target audience. We want them to be able to trust us and know that what we're saying is a solution to their situation, right?
Good. I'm glad you said trust too, because we can get on that with the credibility.
Go ahead.
publicity. So firsthand, people just say, well, I need more visibility. This is what people love to say. I need to get out there. Everybody says that, right? I need to get out there. So I just started saying, people say, what you do? I help people get out there. So first people think about getting out there, right? Because you can have the best product or service in the world, but if nobody sees it, like, what are your expectations? What can they do? They can't really support you. So the main thing is, being visible. The second thing is being credible, right? You can say that I am the best. I am the best. I am the best. I am the best. Guess what? That is advertising, right? That's advertising. And while you could be the best and you're saying that, what do people think when you do that? They'll be like, I don't know. That's kind of self-serving. I don't necessarily know if I could trust that.
Right.
But imagine on the other hand, you have, a media outlet. Let's say The View, someone on The View, you're on The View. And people are saying, she is the best. Taiisha is the best. She's the best. She's the best. She's the best. Same thing, right? But would you believe the panel of The View that I'm the best over me saying that I'm the best, right? Okay.
We're gonna listen to the ladies of The View.
Right. I know. Right. Or my examples.
Right.
But you get what I'm saying. It's that third party credibility. It's one thing when you say something about your product or your service or your story or what you have. It's another thing when someone else vouches for you and they have something, positive to say about your product, your service, your business, your brand. Even bigger is when the media says it, right? So when it's someone else, a third party person, that's pretty credible. That gives us that credibility. So we have visibility. You see us, you have the credibility. There are other people who think that, we do good work also. But then you get to the authority part, and that's when the media backs you. When the media says, yes, she's good. They're good. Yeah. This product is good. This food is good. This book is good, right? Because people, as much as people want to say about the media and, who to trust and what to trust and everything, listen, you're going to watch the news, right? You're going to get most of your most reliable resource information from the news, right?
Right.
Right. We get news off TikTok and Facebook Shorts and everything, but if you want to know it's real, you're gonna go to CNN or MSNBC, one of those stations.
Yes.
So could you imagine if one of those entities like that, the media is co-signing your story, co-signing your visibility, co-signing, your credibility, then that gives you so much clout that you get like an authority, because if the media says so, it must be true.
Yes.
And then you use that and you leverage that authority that you get from being featured in the media to do into other things, Would you rather work, buy a product that has been featured on a daytime talk show, or another product just like it that you've never heard of, never seen or anything?
You're going to go with
products, but you'd be like, oh, I saw that on, this talk show. They were talking about this. Or even like, for instance, even like social media, YouTube. There's so many things that I've tried now because I see like little YouTubers using it and talking about it and everything. That's still publicity. It is. I've passed cans of Celsius, the little energy drink. I pass those things in the grocery store all the time. Like 2 for $6. Ain't no way. No. But then I noticed that one of my favorite YouTubers, always talks about it, drinks one before she goes to work out. So then I'm in the grocery store passing by like, oh, they 2 for $5 this week. I don't know, girl, maybe, such and such was talking about
it. But you're considering it. And it's like you're considering it now because it has the approval of your favorite YouTuber,
of a third party. It has some credibility to it. Right?
Yes.
So then I see in the news that there's a whole like a lawsuit thing going on with some celebrities that involves the brand. And so that made me think of it again, right? Because now it's on like the news. People are talking about this. So I'm like, let me see what these folks are talking about. And then I ended up getting them and I was like, oh, these are not bad. And so now it's like something that's in my rotation. And that's all like from publicity.
Right.
From publicity, getting exposed, getting, it was visible to me, and then someone else I saw, made it credible. And then I saw it being mentioned in the news, you
That
know,
put the authority on it.
right, with some people, fighting over some shares of it or whatever. And that put the authority on it. I'm like, oh, this is a big brand. Like, people are talking about it and fighting over shares and whatnot. Let me go ahead and get
I'm
two for
going
five.
2 for 5 today, Alex.
Right.
Two
So
for
that
five
there's
today.
just so many ways that you can get publicity of your product or your service. It's all in how you use that attention and the credibility to leverage it to reach your other business goals. It's another tool.
It's a tool, and it's a needed tool. It is a needed tool, and this is, I've noticed. I started my business journey out as a multi-level marketing, and I know
Mhm.
people be like, "Laquita, you didn't do those pyramid schemes." Let me help the people in the world of multi-level marketing, or whatever you might be calling it today. Real multi-level marketing is not a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is where the people on top stay on the top and those on the bottom shall never leave their level. But real multi-level marketing, you can start on the bottom and literally work your way to the top, just like in corporate America.
Mhm.
You can become the CEO even though you was brought into the company by your boy who was a first line supervisor
Right.
in department A. And if you determine you want to be here, you can get here and outwork him and get to where you want to be. That's real multi-level
People
marketing. But
don't believe that because a lot of people who go in there, they go in to do the really quick thing. They see the people at the top with the lights, the camera, the action, the flashes on the magazines and everything.
they
You
don't realize
know,
the level of work that
that's a
requires. And
lot of
that's a
work.
lot of work. And it's no different than entrepreneurship. It's no different than climbing the corporate ladder. It looked good with all the lights and the
It
bling
looked
and all of that stuff.
good.
But the hours of work that it requires to build a team to get you to that level in multi-level marketing, just like in entrepreneurship. And again, this is again another reason that I brought you on, because we see the results of a good PR person when we are looking at our favorite influencers. They
Mhm.
I like they may be good at what they're doing. I don't care if they're an influencer and they're a branding and marketing influencer. At some point in time in their journey, they had a good PR person. They had an understanding of PR in
Yes.
order to become a global brand. That's
Yes.
the thing, right?
Right.
With multi-level marketing, even in that community, the most successful people understand branding, they understand marketing, and they understand the need for good PR in order for them to continue to build their brand. So
Yes.
it don't matter what you're doing, whether you're a multi-level marketer, whether you are trying to be the next, I like gardening on YouTube, and you want to be the next gardening sensation
Yeah.
influencer on YouTube, or you want to sell your cookies, cakes, and pot, it doesn't matter. At some point, the things that Taiisha is talking about, we need to implement them. And the sooner we do it, the better. Because if you're starting this journey, whether that word expert makes you shaking your boots or not, you have to feel like that somewhere in your inside, that I have value to bring. Because if you don't feel like that, then you wouldn't be starting this journey. So why not start your journey and laying the right foundation and understanding, okay, Taiisha, okay, LaQuita, where do I need to show up? I'ma just, depend on my friends and family to help me get there. Let me help you. Praise God for friends
Right.
and family.
Right.
We
So let
love
me
friends
tell
and
you
family.
why that's not enough. And
Come
I'm gonna
on.
get deep.
Yes.
I'm gonna get
Go
deep.
ahead.
I'm gonna
Go
get
ahead.
deep
Go
on the
get
saints.
come on. Get them, girl. Get them.
So most of us, especially in the entrepreneur space, we have our why. Lots of times our why is kind of very spiritual, and a lot of our work is purpose based, right? That's why people
Yes.
think entrepreneurs are crazy, because like we lose but we won't stop. But listen, we be wanting to stop, but we feel like God won't let us stop. He won't
Come
let us
on now.
go. It nags at us like, oh, I just want to do it, right? So
Right.
imagine having these gifts and working in these gifts and doing what you're doing, but you aren't letting people know, you aren't sharing it. How are you testifying?
Mm.
Right? Publicity. It doesn't have to be a bragging kind of thing. It doesn't have to be a hey, look at me, trust me kind of thing. It can be a hey, I'm on a mission to be a light for people. Let me stand up on the stage in the spotlight
Come
so
on
people
now.
can see me clearly, because that's a part of my job. That's a part of my mission. God did not give you your mission and your purpose work to do it secretly and hide it and not let people know. People are supposed to see from that and learn from that and grow from that. And so if you are doing great work and purpose work, and you know that you have a greater why and that your work, can help people and impact people, you are dead wrong for not letting people know and see what you're doing.
Come on. I love, come
People
on.
don't like to hear that when I say that.
My last podcast, I said that I was gonna get my son to program the clap button into my new toy so I could clap. I didn't do it because I needed
The
to clap
clap.
right then. Because especially,
It's a part of your responsibility.
come on now,
You
like,
can't when you're in school, you don't do your test and not turn it in.
come on.
When you get your 100, what does your parents do? They put it on the refrigerator. That is
Yes, they
publicity.
do.
How do you not put your paper on the refrigerator?
Come on, in class
You can't help it that you
participation.
got the A. Right. People
Right,
are so
right.
worried about coming across as, kind of bragging or showboating kind of thing. But where does that end? And where does I need to show people what I'm doing? I need the people who need to see me to see
To
me. I
see
need the
me,
people who need to find me to be able to find me.
find
And they're
me.
not going to
Yes.
find me hanging down here being quiet and modest.
Come
I
on
need to
now.
go get up on the stage in the spotlight. Yes, it's scary. Yes,
Yes,
it's
it is.
hot.
Yes. Some lights be
Yes, it's
hot.
uncomfortable, but that's
Yes.
where you need to go for people to see you. And if you're working in purpose work, then it's your responsibility to do what you can do for people to see you. And social media makes it hard, right?
Mhm.
Before social media was a thing, everybody's just scrapping to kind of stand out. We knocking on doors, and like, I'm not that young that I don't know about knocking on doors and, hey, I have a business. Here's my card. Here's a flyer. Like, that used to be the thing. Then
That
social
used to be.
media
Mhm.
happened. And then everybody who was on board with that, they got the leg up on the people who were still, kind of doing in-person kind of thing. So
Yeah.
now everybody has access to social media. You can have your own TV channel on pretty much any platform. Now, what do? How do you break
Mm,
above the noise above
come on.
that? It's going to have to be something bigger than, individual people who can, create their own content. Um, you know, uh, Called created content. You have to earn media, which is going to give you the power and the reach of a place like Forbes or
Mm,
Cosmopolitan or, Huffington Post or anything like that. You're going to need a
yes.
little bit more or a lot of bit more of a
A lot of
boost,
it.
because there's so
Yeah.
many people just killing it on social media.
Yeah.
And so if that's not you or your vibe, or you're not that technologically savvy, why not use a tool that is 10, 20, 30 times more powerful, which is, mass media. And you don't even have to do too many tricks to do what you do,
To do what you
because
do.
what
Yeah.
the media is looking for are people who shine a light on people who are doing what they're already doing. Like, you can be recognized and featured in the media and publicized for doing what you're already doing.
What you're already doing.
You don't got
Yeah.
to get on a reel and do a little dance and remember the words and all of that stuff, right? Because we got to do a lot of that to do social media. But
Yes, you
people
do.
who are on the media are on TV because they started a lemonade stand to raise money, for a neighbor who had cancer. And now they're on the nightly news just for doing what they were already doing,
Already doing.
right?
Come
So
on.
we're doing all this work and we're working with people and saving lives and, helping people with their businesses and their problems. If you're, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you're helping people, you can be publicized
Hmm.
and be featured for doing what you're already
Already doing.
doing, right?
Look,
Who wants to be doing more work?
I know I
Right?
don't.
You don't have to be doing anything special, anything differently, as long as what you're doing and you're doing a good job, and you feel like is worthy, of people knowing what you're doing. You don't have to do anything differently. All you have to do is say, hey, excuse me, I have a great business and I like to help people. And if you would like to, ever cover that or talk to me about it, here I am. I'll be
Here
over
I
here.
am.
That is
Yeah.
very much so more interesting and newsworthy than someone who is trying to do something to create a spectacle to attract attention.
Come on. Come on. See, all that right there. I hope y'all was listening. She just released some amazing gems right there that should have tore up some erroneous thinking. And I know, let me just hold up both hands. If I was acrobatic, I hold up both feet on that. Both
Right.
feet, right? Both feet would have been in the air for the camera, but I
Right.
ain't
We're
that
trying
acrobatic,
too
y'all.
hard. We are
We
trying too
trying
hard
to
out here.
we're trying too hard, and as believers, oftentimes we mistake confidence for arrogance, or not only do we mistake confidence for arrogance, but we look at it as a person with no humility, and that's just not the case. Those of us that are doing purpose driven work, and let's be clear, as an entrepreneur, you are probably doing purpose driven work, even if you haven't
Probably.
recognized it. You
Yes.
are probably doing purpose driven work. That's why it's so hard for you to quit and give up and walk away. I don't care how
Absolutely.
many times you quit, you come back, you find yourself coming back again. But let's tear down some of these bad ways of thinking, this wrong way of thinking that says, okay, I ain't gonna be out here asking for the attention. I'm gonna just do the work, and God will just bring the needed people and the needed attention to me if that's his will. So I'm gonna just be quiet in the cut, do my thing. Like so many people that I know say that I'm a behind the scenes person. I just want to do the work, and don't, all of y'all go out there, lies and deceit. Like lies and
Right.
deceit. Lies and deceit. It's the way that you're thinking about it.
Yes.
Because I am great at what I do, and I know God called me to do it. If God is calling me to do it, I have to be able to reach the people that he's called me to reach. They got to know I exist.
Yes.
While we over here playing humble, how many of your target people that God called you to reach did you miss
Yes.
because we didn't understand the need for for showing up, for
Yes.
showing up and showing out and letting people know? Again, arrogance is one thing, but confidence is a whole other bucket. And what I believe Taiisha is saying here is be confident. The
Yes.
scripture said, be confident in this very thing. He that had begun a good work in me shall perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Be confident that that scripture applies to you in the work that you're doing. So show up and let people see you doing it. Whoever your favorite celebrity or big name pastor, you don't see them shying away from it. You don't see your favorite influencer shying away from it. And let somebody say something crazy about your favorite person, you're going to defend them like you actually know them.
Right.
So why not show up the way they're showing up to do the work, right? That you're called
Yes.
to do. We,
Yes.
we have to be able to do that and know
Be
how
a
to do
burning
it.
bush. That's what I say. Be a
Yes.
burning bush. You can't
Be the light.
burn
Be the burning
in the
bush.
secret.
Yeah. Be the be the light that God has called you to be, and let somebody shine a light on you so they're like, hey, he or she is doing this fabulous work. You want to know about the work that they're doing. You want to do that. You want to do that. And I believe that PR plays an important role in that. You mentioned about streaming TV. And I have a streaming TV platform and have had it for quite some time. And I believe it's a needed piece of the puzzle for business owners to be able to show up. But without having a good manager or understanding PR, you won't even know how to get in contact with the people who own the platforms to
Right.
say, hey, I want to be a guest. Or
Yes.
you won't understand if one of us approaches you, you won't understand the value in it and
Yes.
why you might want to be on that platform. Is it the right time in your business journey right now to show up there? And if you say yes, now how can I take this piece of content and make it work for me? How can I use this piece of content to leverage and open up doors to be in Forbes, to be in Cosmos, to be on the Today Show or the morning show? Like, how can I do that? And that's where we have to have an understanding of PR. And with your new products, tell us more about your new products and the offer that you have for our listeners so that they can begin to learn more about PR.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And thank you for being a media owner because, there are different kinds of media. And when you earn media through, like publicity, being on the news, we call that earned media, right? You did
Right.
something to earn that attention. When you have a show like yourself and so many people who are interviewing my podcast, you own your media. So that's
Mhm.
own media. So that could be like your podcast, your Roku channel, your YouTube channel, even your website. Those are things that are owned media. So owning media is great. Earning media is great. There's so many different ways that you can do that. So thank you for being a media owner so we can earn
Listen,
some media
come on now, come on,
from
because
people like you as
we,
well.
we have to understand. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but you said something that just triggered some. Like, why did I want this platform? Why did I want LaQuita's Toolbox? Why did I want Pursue Purpose TV? Because I want to own my
Yes.
content. I want to own the things that I produce. Why is that? I love social media, and using social media is a part of my strategy.
Yes.
But we have to realize any and everything that we put out on social media, we don't own it. The owners of the platform own it. And if they decide they don't want your content out there no more, guess what's going to happen? It will disappear.
Right. Yes. Or it could be changed and edited, like reality TV when you're on
Yes.
TV and they record for hours and hours and then they edit and put it together they want to. When
Mm-hmm.
you don't own your media, that can happen as well. And that's the thing with
Yes.
earned media with publicity. You don't get a final say in how your story comes out. Ooh,
You
that's one of
better
the
talk
risks,
about it.
right?
You got to come back. You got to come back for a part two.
Right.
'Cause
It's happened to me.
it's
There's still an article
yes.
out there where I said something like kind of off the cuff and they put it in the article. And I'm like, Lord, I wish I never said it, but I had
Like
no control
no control of it,
over that.
misrepresenting,
And that's
you
where
know,
media preparation comes in. So not to say little off the cuff stuff because it
come
could get
on now.
taken. But that's another day.
Listen, you're going to come back and talk about that because
Yes.
it's real. It's real.
It's real. Mhm.
You'll start to get these things in your inbox. Hey, do you want to be interviewed here? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And we're excited, like, yay, let's do it.
Yes.
But then when you see the article, you're like,
Yes,
that
you
ain't
definitely have to
how
vet
that
out
went down.
media as well. You definitely have
Yes.
to vet media and see where you're going. And, if that publication, that media outlet is a good fit for you and your values and your visions and your views, or
Mm,
are there some kind of red flags there? Because we don't want to be so desperate that we'll take and do anything,
come
you
on.
know, and
See,
that we do that. I used to do that. Ask me something, ask me to speak, talk, anything. I used to be like, yep, sure enough, yep, will do. Like, whoa, wait a minute. I
whoa,
didn't know it would
what
be like
is
that.
this?
Yeah. So you could, when you have it in your control and you understand what publicity is and you don't feel like you are so desperate that you have to take whatever is, you can be discerning and
Hmm.
make sure that what you're taking on, the main thing is that their audience is who you're trying to talk to, right?
Come on.
So you
Yes.
could get invited to like a wonderful interview, but if the people who are watching this are not people who are going to fool with me or buy anything from me, then like, what was the point of
What was
that?
the point?
So we
Yes.
have to think about that as well when we're saying yes or no, because you could just be spending a lot of your effort, just to get out there. You want to get out there in front of the right people. Like that
Yes.
is what we call your audience. You decide who your audience is, and then I decide if I'm going to do something based on, is that my audience? So a lot of what I have helps people from not having to feel so desperate to take on anything. So we were talking about own media.
Hmm.
And so I have a podcast
Hmm.
called Media Circus Podcast. And I actually did a little bit of rebranding because I was doing Taiisha Bradley Celebrity Publicist, which is like my moniker. But I've always been fascinated and loved all things like circus. And people know that the father of publicity was P.T. Barnum, who started the circus. And so it was
Yes.
all relative because remember, I wanted to be a publicist since I was a kid, right? So the circus was like magical for me. Like what's magical, like Disney magical for other people, the circus was magical for me, just the whole pomp and circumstance and the publicity and the sensationalism, and like I love all kinds of drama. And listen, the circus was high drama. That's why it did so well for like so many hundreds of years, right?
Yes.
And so I just kind of always thought about that. And so I was like, when I want to do like a cohesive brand, I'm gonna do something circusy, kind of Cirque du Soleil, nice. And so I came up with Media Circus. And Media Circus is a somewhat of a negative term in like the media communications era. And that's kind of what made it sensational, to me, sensationalize that. But basically, what the definition of what a media circus is um an improportionate amount of media coverage over an event or an occurrence, right? And so normally we use that for something negative, right? Like this is something small, insignificant that happened, but the media is all over it, covering it. We're tired of it, right? But
Right.
imagine if it was a positive thing. It's just me. I'm just a regular, everyday entrepreneur doing some work, but the media loves me and they're all over me and they want to talk to me all the time, right? That is a positive media circus. We always think of media circus in a negative way, but what I'm trying to do is create a positive media circus and in a ridiculous amount of media coverage for these everyday entrepreneurs like me and you trying to do our thing and trying to be seen. Like I want it to be a spectacle, or for people to be like, Lord, she's on this again. She's on TV again. Another article. Weren't you just saying that? Yes, we were. Me and all my friends. I'm trying to create a media circus for people to be like, well, what's going on over there? Come over here and see. So the first way that I'm doing that is with my podcast, the Media Circus podcast. And on that podcast, I bring on members of the media to talk about who they are, how they got into media, because we need to start to humanize journalists, right? People are so scared of them and like scared to pitch them. I'm like, they're regular people trying to rub two nickels together just like us, right? So we learn about them, and how they got into media. And then we get into topics about pitching, right? And even as a publicist, like I want to know, what kind of stories do you take? Are you taking stories now? Do you like for email pitches? Do you like for me to follow up one time or two times? Do you like to text? Where you like to be? You be on TikTok? Can I follow you on Instagram? Like I asked them all the questions.
Right.
What makes a good story? What will make you delete somebody's email right away? What will make you answer somebody's email?
Yeah.
What do people say or do that you hate? What do people say or do that you love? Right. And so while you're listening to my podcast, you can literally be taking notes on how to pitch this person.
Yes.
In the episode and how right on your email and be like, hey, I just heard you on the podcast. I heard that you're looking for stories about XYZ. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm literally giving the cheat code on how to pitch these people. And so with the podcast is growing, I'm doing one episode a month right now. Because I'm doing like some production with some commercials and intros and outros. I want it to be really nice, but I want it to be a free resource that people can like actually go to, just listen to and learn more about the media, what people do and don't like. And maybe there's a guest on there where you like, hey, I'm gonna send her a message and pitch them, and feel right free to go ahead and do that, because that's what we want to do. The second way that I'm helping people is through my membership on Patreon called Publicity Leads. So as a part of the podcast, I have a Patreon that supports the podcast, but it's called Publicity Leads. And inside of that, I post dozens and dozens. I'm trying to get to hundreds and thousands at some point in time of opportunities for people to earn media. So I have posts. I'm going to just go to it real quick. Articles. So I have what I call article leads. And these are opportunities to be featured in like online and print magazine articles, blogs from the Huffington Post. These are from journalists who are actively working on articles, and they need people to comment, to give ideas for a story, or to be interviewed, right? These are journalists already looking for people. So all you have to do is read it and be like, yes, that's me, and respond to it, right? You don't have to think of
Right.
anything to say or pitch or anything. All you have to do is follow the instructions. The contact information is there, everything. So I have the article leads in there. I also have the same thing for TV leads, especially for daytime TV. So if you're interested in being on like the Jennifer Hudson show or the Tamron Hall show, any kind of TV shows like that, even like some reality shows, I have leads on there that you can read them, see what these TV shows, what kind of guests or expert speakers they're looking for, and then follow the instructions on how to respond. I have the same thing for podcasts. If you want to be a podcast guest, I have tons of podcast leads where you can browse and fill out the form to be a guest. Also VIP leads. Oftentimes I'll get opportunities to invite like my clients or people that I know that would be a good fit for things like red carpet, or this weekend like the BET Awards. Like I get tons of invitations where people like say, hey, if you have any talent or any influencers, or anyone who wants to be a part of this BET Awards pre-event or after event or cocktail party, I get those all the time. And those are things that I reshare on publicity leads under the VIP leads, and also gifting leads, a way to get a celebrity and influencer endorsement. So anytime I have opportunities from a celebrity or an influencer who is, open to endorsing things, I go ahead and post it. You can reach out, mail your gifts to them. I usually have the address and everything to them, with a nice little note, and see if they would, use your product or post you or anything. And again, none of these are guaranteed, right? But I'm
Right.
doing the
But
work
it's the
for you.
opportunity.
I'm finding the opportunities for you, telling you
Yeah.
exactly what to do, pretty much what to say, and how to contact them. I even have them I'm adding awards and speaker leads back to them as well. That was something I tried out before. And I didn't think that people were that interested. And then when I took those away, people were like, hey, where did that go? So I'm going to put back opportunities for people to speak, because a lot of people want to be paid speakers or free speakers. And that is all a part of publicity, getting in front of audiences.
Yeah,
So I'm putting the speaker leads back, and then also awards and recognitions. Some of us are doing such great work and don't feel seen, and awards and recognitions are things that can help us be seen. And most awards, industry awards, they have options for self-nomination. And why am I saying that? Because you don't have to sit around wait for somebody to nominate you and recognize you for an award. You can nominate
yourself. Yeah.
And if it's not a self-nomination, you can shoot an email to someone who knows how amazing you are and say, hey, I would love if you would consider nominating me for this award. I think I'm a good fit. This is why. Would you consider nominating me?
Yeah.
Even if you don't win the award, the fact that you were a nominee is publicity in and of itself. So there's so many ways that you can earn publicity. There's so many low-hanging opportunities. And I post those in my Patreon for people to subscribe. And so I have 3 levels. The first level is just $8 a month, because I want people to just really be able to have access, right? So you get access to certain ones of the leads. And then if you want to bump up and do a little bit more, because you've got some experience under your belt, you can bump up to the $16 a month level and get access to another tier of leads. But if you want access to every single thing, including the TV leads and the VIP leads for like the red carpets and the celebrity things, it's just $24 a month. Like so you're really just paying me for the time and effort that it takes for me to, find these and post them online. And a lot of them are evergreen, so they don't even expire. So if you ever want to pitch yourself to Essence magazine, then I have the information in there on how to do that at any point in time. So a lot of the things are just there, and you don't have to feel like you have to feel rushed and let me go ahead and respond to this before the time runs out. A lot of them are just there, and you can go back anytime. And so I love this program. I haven't even been pushing it that hard, and people just find it and just like join it because they're like, oh my gosh,
it's butter, baby. Listen, it's butter, baby. That when you understand the power of what you are presenting to those who partner with you through your Patreon, when you understand the power of PR, $24 a month. Let me tell you something.
That's unheard of. Like, there's probably some people who be mad at me for that.
Listen, I'm mad at you for that, but I'm gonna sign up. I'm mad
But
at
you
you.
know what? But you know what the
I
thing
love you
is?
and I'm mad at you at the same time. Come on, this
Most
is
people,
beautiful.
but most people won't have the confidence or take the time to do it for themselves.
Mm,
Why not? I'm handing it to you. Most people will still be scared. Most people will still, might sign up and then, look at it and be like, oh, look at all this and not really do it. You know what I mean? Like people are still pretty scared. But if you're a person where you don't have anything to lose and 2023 is your year and you're just going to get out there and whatever happens,
happens.
like you could lose yourself in the publicity leads. I had this gentleman join it, and before I could send him the little welcome email, hello, welcome, let me know if I can need anything. He was like, listen, I done pitched several of your leads already. Please keep them coming. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess you don't need any help getting acclimated to the platform or anything. Cause I'm like, if I can help you. And he was like,
Yeah,
listen,
because I mean,
I'm already on it. And that's how you need to be in there. Like you can get
yeah.
so many opportunities in there that I share. Like I make it easy. And I mean, and there's small things in there and there are big things in there also.
Listen, that's beautiful. Listen, y'all better recognize the value of what she just said. But that's okay. If you don't recognize it, I recognize it. And my tribe gonna recognize it.
Thank
The
you.
LaQuita's Toolbox community, we recognize the value in what you have just presented to us. Listen, let's get in the show notes. Find these links in the show notes. You won't have to look hard because I put them up there. They're all nice and cute
Right.
and everything. So get in there and connect with Taiisha. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity to connect with her Patreon community. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say, forget the $8, forget the $16, go straight for the $24.
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Go big or go home. Like
Everybody gets that one. Everybody
Yeah.
gets that $24 one, because what'll happen is they might get the $8 or the $16 one, and then they'll see like how good it is, and they're like, man, if this is good, like if I get this for $8, like what's the $24 got? So most people will upgrade within like 24 hours of one of the lower tiers.
Yeah, go big or go home. If you're gonna do the doggone thing, do it. But listen, I know our time is running out. You got something else though. I know you got the love the new brand, by the way, Media Circus. When I first saw it roll out, I was like, oh, check her out. I like it.
Circus.
Yes. Come on now. Let me see what kind of shows you got up in here.
Yes,
Carnival. Let me see what kind of shows you got up in here.
Yes. This is my 3-ring circus. It's the podcast, the publicity leads, and then I also have some Media Circus speed pitching events that are launching in the fall. And that is the big crux of it. So when I tell you, when I thought about like I said, during the pandemic and everything was like kind of wide open, I was like, I need to kind of, everybody did the pivot. I was like, I need to pivot. And I had to think about, what do people want from me the most? Like at the end of the day, what do people want from me actually?
Yeah.
They want me to connect them with the media.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I just do that? Like literally. Like, what if I could get like a room full of journalists and a room full of entrepreneurs and just let everybody pitch like crazy, like speed dating, but speed pitching. And I was like, that's a brilliant idea. Hold up. At first I was playing. So I went online and I did some research, and I found that there are some places, there's one in New York and one in the UK that do something similar, and they also have virtual versions of it. I was like, oh, say less. So that's how I'm going to start off doing it virtually. So people will be able to log in and get it online, one-on-one with journalists from different publications, and have 5 minutes to pitch their story or pitch themselves as an expert to that journalist directly. Like no middleman, whatever happens, what goes down. But there is a video course and some worksheets on how to prepare. Cause I know some of y'all will be like, that sounds great, but hold up. So I am going to get you ready so that you know everything that you'll need to have and be prepared on what to say to be able to get there. And I have so many people, some journalists that I've talked to and that are on the podcast, have talked to their journalist friends, and they're like, oh girl, this is about to be the bomb. So I'm super excited about that.
You
so
better go ahead. I'm signing up. You just need to know.
Yes,
I'm signing up.
I'm signing up too. Is it wrong for me to be in there pitching myself? At my own
Listen, come on. If I don't toot my horn, who will?
right. They're like, where's Taiisha? I'm like, listen, I'm in my breakout room pitching.
That's it.
I'm in here with Essence. Look, get somebody else to do it.
Come on.
Are you ready to take your business, career, and mindset to the next level? Then it's time to join the conversation on LaQuita's Toolbox. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leader, or someone just looking to level up, this show is packed with powerful insights and real strategies to help you succeed. Imagine yourself here, sharing your story, your expertise, and making a real impact with an audience ready to grow and thrive. With LaQuita's Toolbox, you'll be inspired, empowered, and part of an incredible community that's all about winning. This is your moment. Don't miss the opportunity to be a guest on LaQuita's Toolbox. Unlock new doors, connect with like-minded professionals, and elevate your brand to new heights. Ready to make your mark? Head over to www.laquitamonley.com, LaQuita's Toolbox, and sign up to be a guest today.